Hey ladies, welcome to tonight's live training, Bat Wings Be Gone. Have you ever stood in front of your closet on a 95-degree day and said, "Ugh, I really want to wear that sleeveless top, but arms, like you're in the right place." Okay, tonight we are going to tackle a topic I know so many women feel really, really frustrated about, especially this time of year. That loose skin that's under your arms or that soft spot that shows up in pictures, the reason that you keep reaching for cardigans, even when it's hot as hell outside. So, we're talking about the infamous bat wings, okay? I want you to know something before we dive into the how to. This training is not about shaming your body, okay? This is about giving you the tools that actually work, okay? No gimmicks, no starvation, no hours of cardio, and no pretending like it's just about toning up that area, okay? We're going to talk science, we're going to talk strategy, and we're going to talk real solutions that women in their 40s, 50s, and 60s and beyond can apply starting today, right? But before we go any further, I want to tell you about one of my clients. Her name is Brenda. Okay. Brenda came to me last summer and she told me, I have to change my entire wardrobe over the last 5 years because of my arms. I hate the way they look in tank tops. And I feel like I always need to hide them like all the time. I want to fast forward to today, and she's lifting heavier than ever. She's fueling her body the right way. And she just posted a picture of her on a beach vacation in a sleeveless dress with her arms up in the air like damn superwoman. It was awesome to see. Now, she got there not because we chased perfection, but because she stopped chasing those quick fixes and started chasing her strength instead. And that's what I want for you. And by the end of this training, you're going to understand exactly what's been holding you back and what you can do about it. Cool? All right, let's go. So, first things first, we need to clear the air on what actually causes the bat wings because you've been lied to a lot. Okay. Every time summer rolls around, the fitness industry starts throwing the same BS at women. Okay. Get rid of the arm jiggle with these three tricep moves, or flatten flabby arms in just 7 days, or just do more cardio to burn the fat, right? We've all heard it, and maybe you've tried it, right? Maybe you've done the arm circles, or the shake weight, or the juice cleanses, or that wrap that promises to melt off the fat while you sleep, right? But I want to bust some of the most common myths right now because if we do not call them out, you're just going to keep like falling into their traps, right? And they're really good at their marketing, okay? So don't blame yourself. They're pretty good at doing this thing. But myth number one that I hear all the time is it's my hormones. Okay. Hormones definitely shift after 40. That is a for real thing. Okay. Estrogen starts to decline. We lose muscle more easily. Our metabolism doesn't bounce back as fast, but it's not a death sentence. Okay. Especially for your arms, right? You can support your hormones naturally with strength training, proper nutrition, sleep, and stress management, and we do this every day inside of my coaching program. The second myth is it's just my genetics. No, you are not doomed by your DNA. Genes might influence where your body stores fat, but they don't decide whether you build strength or eat enough protein or prioritize your sleep. It is lifestyle, not luck. Myth number three is I just need to do more tricep exercises, right? Tricep kickbacks, maybe some overhead presses with that dumbbell, maybe some chair dips. Wrong again. Okay. You cannot spot reduce fat from one area. And I want to say that again a little bit louder. You cannot spot reduce. Okay. This means doing a million of those tricep kickbacks will not make the jiggle go away. Okay. It might strengthen the muscle under there, but if you're not lowering overall body fat, no one's going to see the muscle that you're building under there. Okay. Myth number four is I'm just too old now. Ladies, listen up. My oldest client, she is 76. She lifts twice a week. She walks daily and has more visible muscle definition than she did in her 40s. So, yeah, age is a factor, but it is not a limit. Okay. So, you're not too far gone. You're just under supported. Okay. This is why your mindset matters so much. If you believe it's not possible, you're not going to take the actions that lead to change. And if you keep telling yourself, well, this is just my body now, you give your power away to a story that doesn't even serve you. So let's flip that tonight. And let's say instead something like, my body responds when I give it what it needs, or I can still build strength at any age, or this is my season to show the hell up for myself, right? Because once you believe it's possible, you're going to start showing up differently. You're going to start asking better questions, not how do I lose fat from my arms, or how do I become stronger, leaner, healthier for life? That's the shift we're here to make tonight. Next, I want to dive into the science of muscle and skin. All right. So now that we've busted some of those limiting beliefs, let's break down what's really happening under the skin, because bat wings are not just a cosmetic issue. Okay. This is a combination of muscle loss, fat gain, and skin changes. All that trifecta working against us. Okay. So let's start with muscle loss. So this is also known as sarcopenia. And after age 30, if we're not doing anything about it, women lose 3 to 8% of their muscle per decade. 3 to 8%. And that number tends to speed up after menopause. So what that means is if you're not strength training, your muscle tissue is literally shrinking every year, and especially every 10 years. And guess what's sitting on top of that muscle? Skin and fat. So when the muscle underneath gets smaller, the skin starts to sag. And it's not that your skin got worse, it's that the foundation beneath it got smaller and softer. So let's talk about the elasticity of your skin. Okay. So your skin is held up by collagen and elastin. And I want you to think of these as like the scaffolding and the stretchy bands. So when those start breaking down because of age, dehydration, poor nutrition, sun damage, or big swings in weight, the skin loses that like snapback ability. So have you ever like pulled on a rubber band that's like been left in the sun too long, right? It cracks instead of stretches. And that's what happens to your skin when it's not nourished and protected. And this is why you can't just exercise more and expect magic to happen. You need the muscle and the support from the inside out, okay? It's not just about looks, it's about health. Muscle protects your bones. It keeps your metabolism high. It supports your joints. It balances your hormones. It improves insulin sensitivity. I mean, I could go on for like 30 more minutes on all the things that muscle does for us. But the big takeaway here is that you're not trying to just lose arm fat. You're trying to rebuild that foundation underneath the skin and support the structure that makes your arms look and feel strong again. Okay, now let's talk workouts. This is where a lot of women either one, do way too much cardio, or two, only train the spots that they are seeing in the mirror and try to spot reduce, like we talked about earlier. Or you cannot spot reduce. So neither of those are the path to strong toned arms. So I want to give it to you straight. You do not need more cardio. You need more muscle. Okay. And not just in your triceps. You need a full body plan. Okay. It's because when you strength train your entire body, you increase your lean mass. You burn more fat 24/7, even when you're just like Netflixing and chilling. You stimulate a healthy metabolism and you get that firm athletic look, including. And just in case anyone's still thinking, oh, but won't I get bulky? Like, you're not going to get bulky, okay? Unless you're eating in a huge calorie surplus. We're talking like 2,500 to 3,000 calories, and you're lifting like a bodybuilder, and you're sleeping 9 hours a night, and you're injecting testosterone. You're not going to get bulky. I promise. You're going to get more sculpted looking, and that toned look that we're looking for. Definitely not bulky. So here's what that smart training actually looks like. We want 3 full body strength sessions per week, and each session should include a push movement. Okay, so this is things like push-ups or dumbbell presses. You want a pull movement like rows or band pulls. You want a lower body move, something compound like squats, deadlifts, lunges, and then a core finisher. And yes, triceps can be a part of that too, but they shouldn't be the star of the show. They're kind of an accessory muscle. And you work your triceps in those compound lifts anyway. Biceps and triceps are included in a lot of our compound lifts. So I want to give you kind of a quick example of like what an upper body focus circuit might look like. So, we're talking like a 15, 20 minutes. Okay. So we're going to do like some incline push-ups. So hands on a bench. Okay. Elbows in nice and tight. We're going to do like 3 sets of 10. Then we're going to do an overhead dumbbell press. Okay. Palms facing forward. At the heaviest that you can do, 3 sets of 10. Then we're going to do a close grip chest press. Okay. This can be on the floor, it could be on a bench, depending on if you're at the gym or at home. Again, 3 sets, 10. And then tricep dips off a sturdy chair or a bench. If we have a shoulder impingement or issue with that, I would suggest doing like a tricep kickback instead. And we're going to do 3 sets of either 8 to 12, somewhere in there. And again, you don't need like an hour. You don't need a gym. You just need consistency and the willingness to progress. So this means using heavier weights over time, tracking your reps, okay, and focusing on proper form. Slow it down. Make sure it's slow and controlled. You hear me say this all the time if you work with me. Slow, controlled, focused on that form. And then challenging yourself, not just going through the motions. Okay. We want this to be a challenge so that you're actually giving your body that progressive overload to challenge the muscles in order to give it the stimulus to actually grow. Okay. And, this doesn't mean ditch the cardio altogether. Okay. I still love a good power walk or a short hit circuit myself, but cardio is for heart health and for boosting your mood. Strength is for shape, structure, and metabolism. So a lot of what I tell my clients is let's walk for health, train for tone, and eat for results. Sound good? All right. If you've been multitasking while listening to this training, come back to me right now because this part is going to be a big game changer. Okay. So if you've ever said, I'm working out, but I'm not seeing results, or I feel soft no matter how much I move, or I've lost weight, but I'm still jiggly, this section is going to explain exactly why. So you cannot out-train crappy nutrition, ladies. I don't care if you work out 7 days a week. If you're not feeding your body properly, it's like trying to build a house with toothpicks and Elmer's glue. Like, it's just not going to happen, right? You want tight, sculpted arms. It starts in the kitchen. So let's break it down. Number 1 is protein. This is going to be your best friend, especially after 40, okay? Protein is not just for bodybuilders, okay? It is for muscle repair, hormone balance, skin health, satiety, immune functions, and just so much more. And it's especially important if you're strength training. Why? Well, when you lift weights, you're creating tiny tears in the muscles, okay? And so protein provides the amino acids that your body uses to rebuild that muscle stronger and tighter. Okay, so a good rule of thumb is to aim for about 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per pound of goal body weight every single day. So if your goal body weight is, say, 140 pounds, just to throw a number out there, I want you to aim for somewhere between 110 to 140 grams daily. Okay, this is ideal. And I know a lot of women that I work with are not starting anywhere close to that. And we have to take some very strategic steps to build up to that so that we're not feeling bloated or constipated or just overly full. But most women are getting like half of what they really need. And then they wonder why they feel soft, tired, and hungry 24/7. Okay. So some easy ways that you can boost your protein intake is just like start your day with 30 grams of protein. Okay. This could be like a mixture of eggs and egg whites and some turkey sausage, or like a Greek yogurt and protein granola. Make sure that we're using clean protein powders in your smoothies. Okay, the least ingredients, the better. Steer clear of that Premier Protein. If you've been working with me a lot, we don't do those ones. But like, really being careful of the ingredients, the sugar content, like just check your labels on that, ladies. And then keeping snacks like turkey sticks or cottage cheese or hard-boiled eggs on hand so that you always have a high protein snack with you and aren't ever like left to just figure it out in the moment. And another way to just kind of increase your portion sizes, like that's a great way. Like figure out what you're already eating for protein and just double that up at dinner, right? You're not going to regret this, I promise. More protein equals more muscle, equals less fat, equals tighter skin. Number two, carbs are not the enemy. Let me just rip the Band-Aid off right now. Okay. Cutting carbs is probably making things worse if that's what you're doing right now, ladies. So just listen to me. Okay. Carbs fuel your workouts. They replenish your glycogen, which helps your muscles look full and firm, and they prevent your body from breaking down muscle for energy. Okay. When you are low carb, your workouts tank, your energy drops, and your metabolism gets sluggish. Okay. You do not need to go low carb to lose fat. All right. And I want you to think, I think we get kind of stuck in like what carbs are too. So I want you to think more smart carb. So things like sweet potatoes, oats, rice, fruit, beans, not crackers or cookies, white bread, sugary cereal. Okay. Sometimes we get those very in the same category, um, but very, very different, right? The smart carbs that I mentioned before are slow digesting, and they're going to give you the nutrients you need, where the rest is you're going to leave you hungry and give you these crazy blood sugar spikes. And also, if you pair your carbs with a protein, it's going to help stabilize that blood sugar and keep your energy even throughout the day. So no more crashes, no more hangry bitch in the middle of the day, right? We've all been there. All right, number three is don't fear fat, okay, but use it. Fats are essential, especially for women in perimenopause or menopause, okay, because your hormones are built from fat. Your cell membranes are built from fat. Your skin's glow and elasticity all comes from fat. And so, again, we want to be focused on healthy fats like salmon, avocado, olive oil, nuts, seeds. Not only will these improve your skin texture, but they help your body to absorb vitamins like A, D, E, and K. And let's be real, fat also keeps us satisfied. So, low fat diets can cause saggy skin, mood swings, brittle hair, and cravings from hell. And we're not doing that anymore. Okay. Number four is hydration, and this could be probably the most underrated fix out there. All right, if you want a super easy way to improve your skin elasticity, your digestion, your energy, and your metabolism, drink more damn water. Okay. Dehydrated skin equals wrinkly, saggy skin. Dehydrated muscles appear flat and tired. Okay. Most of my clients do come to me, start drinking like 40 to 60 ounces a day. And by the time we bump that up to somewhere like 90 to 100 ounces, they're like, whoa, I didn't even know I could feel this much better from just drinking more water. It's really that easy. And if you don't care for water, there's some ways we can upgrade this by like adding in things like lemon or cucumber or berries. Get a big jug that is always with you, keep it in your sight. You can tie it to a habit, like every time you get up to pee, drink 8 ounces of water. There's lots of different strategies to get you to drink more, but hydration is the secret weapon for tighter skin. So use it, ladies. All right. Number five is skin supporting micronutrients. So let's talk about collagen. Okay, so this is the most abundant protein in your body, but it does start to naturally decline as we age. Good news is we can support collagen production with the right nutrients. So things like vitamin C help you to build collagen, and these can be found in berries, citrus fruits, bell peppers. Vitamin A supports skin cell turnover, and this can be found in sweet potatoes, leafy greens, and carrots. Zinc adds tissue repair and collagen creation, and you can find this in beef, pumpkin seeds, chickpeas, and then there's omega-3s that reduce the inflammation and help the skin to stay supple. And this can be found in fatty fish like salmon or flax seeds and walnuts. So if you want tight, bouncy skin, these nutrients need to be like in your toolbox. Okay. So with that, I want to talk about what not to do. So let's go over common fat loss tactics that are wrecking your arms. So number one is crash dieting. Okay. If you're dropping weight too fast, you're going to lose muscle and you're going to end up with saggy skin. So that slow and steady equals out to be sustainable and tight if you think of it that way. Okay. Number two is skipping meals. So not eating all day and then binging at night. Okay, that can really wreak havoc on your blood sugar, your hormones, and your recovery. So you need consistent fuel, especially after 40. All right. Number three is over restricting carbs or fats. So cutting out whole food groups. Okay, now this might shrink the scale for a minute and you'll see that number go down, but you'll look and feel worse. Okay, so remember, we're not chasing smaller, we're chasing stronger, tighter, healthier. Okay, so quick recap before we move on, because we've covered a lot so far, but I want you to prioritize protein in every meal, eat smart carbs, not no carbs. We want to embrace those healthy fats, okay, mindfully, and we want to stay hydrated like it's your job, okay, and keep those get in those skin nourishing micronutrients, okay? So nutrition is not about perfection, it's about consistency. So one solid meal isn't going to fix everything, but months of small wins, that's really where those results start to stack up. Okay. And if you're not sure where to start with this, I've got you, and more on that at the end. Next, I want to dive into recovery, hormones, and lifestyle. So if you've been in my world for any amount of time, you know what I'm about to say. Okay. Weight loss is not just about how hard you go. Strength isn't just built in the gym, and fat loss isn't just about macros and workouts. Okay. So this next part is what I call the missing link. Okay. This is the big reason why so many women over 40 feel frustrated, stuck, and exhausted, because if your body feels like it's fighting you, if you're doing all the right things and the scale won't budge, if your arms feel soft no matter how many workouts you get in, it's probably not because you're not trying hard enough, okay? It's because your body is screaming for recovery and your hormones are out of sync. So let's break this down. So, number one is sleep, okay? I know sleep sometimes feels like a luxury some weeks. You're juggling work and family and kids and aging parents and mental load and just all the things, right? But here's the deal. If you're not sleeping at least 7 hours a night, your cortisol is elevated, your body starts to cling to fat, your cravings begin to skyrocket, your muscle repair slows to a crawl, and your skin can really suffer big time. Okay, so sleep is literally when your body rebuilds muscle and rebalances your hormones. And it's like hitting the save on all the work that you did during the day. Without it, progress just doesn't stick. So what helps is, setting a screen curfew. So we're, screens off by a certain time. That blue light can really mess up your melatonin and screw up how deeply you sleep. So like setting a curfew for screen time, using blackout curtains or like an eye mask so that we are getting like dark, especially this time of year, right? It's really light out in the summer for longer. So that really helps. Try legs up the wall pose. I guess my go-to. Again, if you've been in my realm of things for a while, just throw your legs up 5, 10, 15 minutes before bed. It signals your nervous system to just chill the fuck out and allows you to get ready for bed. And keep your room cool, quiet, and dark. And one of my clients was averaging like 5 hours of broken sleep, and she was just like, why is nothing working, right? We didn't touch her macros. We didn't add any more workouts. We just fixed her bedtime routine. Literally, we would just did those 4 things. And 4 weeks later, she dropped inches off her entire body, especially around her arms that she was like really, really wanting to work on, and her belly. And she felt more energetic than she had in months. And that's seriously the power of recovery, right? It is like the underrated by so much. Get your damn sleep, okay? Next, let's talk about stress and cortisol. Okay, so this, I'm sure you've been hearing all over the socials of cortisol. Okay, this is your stress hormone, and yes, it has a purpose. It helps you, survive things like if you were getting attacked by a bear. But we're not running from bears, right? You're sitting in traffic, or you're scrolling social media, or you're worried about your teens' grades, or you're staying up late trying to answer your emails, right? So your body doesn't know the difference between getting chased by a bear and something that's getting you riled up on the internet. Okay. But chronic stress equals chronically high cortisol, and that can lead to more fat storage, especially around our belly, our arms, and our back. Okay. It leads to less muscle growth, disrupted sleep, more cravings, and a slower metabolism. So basically, stress is not just a feeling, it's a biological brake pedal on your progress. So, what do? We need to build in stress buffers. So these are small habits that bring your body back to a place of calm, because you don't have to eliminate stress. which I mean, that's just impossible to do anyway, right? But you just need to give your nervous system some relief. So again, that legs up the wall, okay? Go to. You can do it by itself. You can tie that to some box breathing. We've talked about doing that before, but so box breathing is when you breathe in for 4, we hold for 4, we breathe out for 4, we hold for 4, and you kind of do like a box pattern. Okay. So you can combine all of these or do them one by one. Go for like a 5-minute walk with no phone, just the fresh air. You can journal your thoughts out before bed, like brain dump it all so it's not spinning in your brain while you're trying to go to sleep. Maybe it's saying no to one thing this week that drains you. Okay. Like we don't have to be that yes girl, that people pleaser all the time. You can say no if it's something that's like sucking your life from you. Okay. And I know some of these sound a little woo-woo, but it is science, okay? If we can get our body out of fight or flight, it's only going to benefit you. It's going to give you better sleep, better digestion, help you to balance your hormones. Like it just snowballs into everything if we can try a couple of these tactics that really can be crucial in getting our stress down a couple notches. Next, let's talk about hormones, inflammation, and midlife chaos, right? So here's what no one tells you when you hit 40. Your hormones don't just quietly shift, right? They party like rowdy toddlers and flip tables over when you're not looking, right? Yeah. Estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone all start really fluctuating and sometimes really sharply. And those fluctuations can cause water retention, mood swings, muscle loss, fat gain in new places. Um, and back of the arms, maybe it wasn't there before, and slower recovery. And then we add in inflammation from processed foods, poor sleep, alcohol, and stress. And you've got this cocktail that just helps keep you stuck. But here's the good news. You can stabilize hormones through behavioral changes, not biohacks, okay? You don't need expensive supplements. You don't need hormone pellets or complicated protocols to start feeling better, okay, ladies? Start with lifting weights consistently, eating enough protein and healthy fats, walk or stretch after your meals, get outside and get some sunshine, and sleep like it's your job, okay? And if you do have some hormone issues, like I don't know, say we're having some thyroid issues or PCOS or menopause is just kicking your ass, okay? This stuff still applies, all right? Nutrition, movement, and recovery are your foundation, all right? Meds may help, but they can't fix what a lifestyle neglects. So get back to those basics, ladies. They're going to make all the difference in the world, all right? Quick story. So I had a woman tell me the other day that I feel like I'm working so hard for so little. And it turns out she was barely eating. She was surviving on caffeine and trying to do 45-minute cardio sessions 5 times a week. Her body was fried. Her nervous system was in full-on panic mode. And so we decided to cut her workouts in half. And I want to tell you, we did this without there was a lot of resistance from her on this. So I want to give her props because she definitely trusted the process because she did not want to do what I was telling her. But we cut her workouts in half. We focused on strength and recovery and sleep and fueling with actual food. And she lost 10 pounds. She started to see new definition in her arms for the first time in years and started sleeping 7 hours a night. And it wasn't about doing more, it was about doing the things that worked with her body instead of against it. And yeah, she was pretty shocked and she was glad that she trusted me and trusted the process because she was really, really hesitant. But so here's your takeaway from what we just covered. So fat loss isn't just physical, it's hormonal, okay? Arm definition isn't just about muscle, it's about how you recover. And the most powerful tool in your tool belt might be putting your body in rest and repair mode instead of that constant go, 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 go. Strong arms need rest too, right? We've talked workouts, we've talked fuel, we've talked rest and recovery. Now let's talk about skin. Because a lot of women, it's not just the fat or the muscle underneath the arms, but it's the skin that feels loose or it's like not bouncing back like it was before, right? And if you've gone down the rabbit hole of the arm wraps and the collagen powders and the miracle creams and the shake weights or that vibrating toning bar that looks like a sex toy, Girl, I feel you. We've been there, right? So let's break down what actually matters and what's just, again, that marketing noise that they're really good, right? Like they're very convincing. And then you get the TikTok going and you get all these influencers telling you what's awesome and what you should buy. And it's hard to kind of sift through all of the information, right? So let's talk about collagen, what it does and what it doesn't do. So collagen is a protein. It's what gives your skin elasticity, firmness, and that like bounce back quality. Okay. And when we age, especially after 40, our collagen production begins to drop. And that's normal, but it doesn't mean like game over. All right. It means we just need to give our body raw materials to make more. So, yes, supplementing with collagen can help, but the truth that no brand wants to tell you, if your nutrition is garbage and you're not strength training, collagen isn't going to do shit. Okay. You can't just dump the powder in your coffee and expect your arms to tighten up if you're still skipping meals, if you're under eating your protein and you're avoiding lifting altogether. So, if you want your collagen to actually work, pair it with a strength training routine. Pair it with high protein meals and proper hydration and vitamin C. Okay, so vitamin C is going to help your body to actually use that collagen. So, collagen plus that behavior change is going to equal results. Collagen alone is just going to be expensive piss. So, it's not worth your money. Okay. So let's talk about the nutrients that do support skin elasticity from the inside out. So first one is vitamin C. Okay. You need this to produce more collagen, and it's like the spark plug. Okay. And this can be found in strawberries, bell peppers, oranges, and broccoli. We need vitamin A. This speeds up the skin cell turnover, helps with that firmness, and it can be found in leafy greens, carrots, sweet potatoes. We need zinc, which supports that skin healing and the collagen synthesis. So this is found in beef, pumpkin seeds, and legumes, and omega-3s. Okay, so this is going to reduce the inflammation, improve hydration, and keep that skin supple. And this is found in salmon, walnuts, chia seeds, and flax oil. So I know we talked about these earlier, but I wanted to mention these again and just preface that these are all things that you can eat. Okay. We don't need to order fancy creams or pills from the TikTok shop or the Instagram ads. Your kitchen is your sink's medicine cabinet. That's why I wanted to go over these one more time, that like we can get a lot of these micronutrients from the food that we're eating. Next is hydration. Yep, still going to talk about it again because dry skin is saggy skin. So water plumps up your cells and it flushes waste. It keeps your fascia flexible and it helps every organ, including your skin, to function better. So think of it like this. Dehydrated skin is like a raisin. Okay, hydrated skin is like a grape. You can kind of choose which vibe that you're going for, right? But that's an easy way to kind of think about it. So again, we want to aim for at least 90 to 100 ounces a day. If you're sweating in the sun or drinking caffeine, you want it to be a little bit more. If we're starting at that 30 to 50 ounces of water, we're obviously not going to go from that to 90 to 100 overnight. It's going to take some time working up to. Um, you know, again, we went over these already, but having a bottle with you, something that you love, something that you want to drink out of. How does it feel in your mouth? Do you like the straw? Do you like the big spout? Do you like the coffee lid type spout? Adding something to your water, I would highly suggest sticking with like fruit and things like mint to infuse the water with versus like the drops that are out there. There are some that are, low calorie, but again, we're adding extra ingredients. And, if you put like frozen fruit or lemon, you're getting the micronutrients from that too. Okay. Because it's real food and your body really wants that versus like the drink enhancement drops. You know what I mean? And again, like tying it to something that you do already so that you don't forget to do it. Even setting a timer on your phone could really be helpful to just remind you throughout the day. So, ladies, I do not want you to waste your money on the fad things out there. Okay, the shake weights, the waist and arm wraps, the toning belts, the creams that promise to melt the fat or tighten the skin. Now, don't get me wrong, there's some creams that do give, again, more of that nutrients in, but there's a lot of them out there that are just garbage, okay? The detox teas, the fat burners, the pills with the ingredients that you can't pronounce. Like, if any of that worked, we wouldn't be here, okay? I wouldn't have a job, and the billion-dollar beauty industry would go broke, right? So here's the truth. Muscle is your anti-aging cream. Protein is your collagen booster. Hydration is your glow up, and strength training is your natural lift. So save your money, invest in food, movement, and support that actually shifts your physiology and not just masking those symptoms. Okay. Now let's talk about skin turnover because this does take time. Okay. Skin does not bounce back overnight, especially if you've had decades of dieting, under eating, or avoiding strength training. But with consistency, you will see changes. Okay. So I just had one of my clients, Michelle, message me after 3 months of finally lifting weights, eating her protein and drinking her water and walking daily. And it was funny because she said, I didn't think it was working until I looked at a picture of myself in a tank top and I realized I didn't even notice my arms. That never used to happen. Like, where did these arms come from? They never used to look like. So, super win. Love getting text messages like that, by the way. So, those just make my day. I love what I do. Um, but it goes back to just, you're not always going to see it right away, right? Especially because we see ourselves like this a lot, right? This is the view that we see, and we don't see our backside unless it's like this view, right, in the mirror. So other people see us different, right? Then, or not as often, and they're going to start noticing and telling you, like, this is why it's so important that we take pictures. I know nobody loves taking their pictures, but you can really, really see that progress from a distance, right? Again, no one is like this close to you all the time. So you're able to step back, see a full picture view of your body and where it's changing. And when you see those side by sides and see like the changes in your body are actually happening, your confidence just skyrockets. Um, and eventually you're going to stop noticing the jiggle and start noticing how freaking strong that you feel. So, a couple takeaways from this so far is that you can't buy your way to tighter skin. Okay. You can build it with food, strength, sleep, and patience. Um, and just don't waste your money on a lot of that garbage. Okay. Just let's do it the right way. Um, and even then, like even the ones that do help, you have to stay hyper consistent with. So it's a constant cost, it's a constant refill that you have to stay on top of. And again, if you're not supporting it with all of the basics, it's not going to work long term anyway. Okay. So now that you got the full picture, okay, now that you know what causes bat wings, you know what fixes them and what doesn't, you understand how nutrition, strength, sleep, and skin health actually work together. So let's shift from that education piece to the execution piece, okay? Because let's be honest, right? You don't need any more information. What you need now is implementation. So I want to give you 5 action steps that you can literally start this week to begin tightening and toning your arms without cutting carbs, without starving, or joining a gym. So, you ready? Action step number 1 is to strength train 3 times a week. Okay. You do not need to work out every single day. You do not need 60-minute gym sessions. You need 3 30 to 40-minute workouts each week that challenge the entire body. Okay. So again, let's go over a few ideas with that. We mentioned a few earlier, but if you're starting from scratch, do something like body weight push-ups. You can use the wall, the counter, or get yourself on an incline. I would rather you not do them on your knees because we can't hold full plank position. So earn your progression. Start from the wall, work your way down. Okay. Things like dumbbell squats or sit to stands from a chair if we're not quite ready to do that. Overhead presses, rows using a resistance band, or you could even use like Kellen jugs at home. So we want to build strength, not just get a sweat on. And your last 2 to 3 reps should feel hard, okay, without breaking form. And that's where we start seeing that change really happen. Action step number 2 is eat protein every meal, okay? If you're not tracking anything else right now, just track your protein, okay? We want to aim for somewhere between 30 to 40 grams a meal. Things like eggs and turkey sausage, or a chicken salad with avocado and hard-boiled eggs, or salmon with roasted veggies and quinoa, or even a high quality protein smoothie with berries and almond butter. Okay. So protein keeps you full, it supports muscle repair, and is your secret weapon for tight arms and a tighter core. If you need some more protein ideas, just reach out. I'd love to help you. I have another resource that I can send you all about protein and how to get it in. Action step number 3 is to drink 90 to 100 ounces of water each day. So get yourself a water bottle you actually like to drink out of. Keep it at your desk, keep it in your car, in your hand, all times. Okay. That hydrated skin is healthy skin. Hydrated muscles recover better. So don't wait till you're thirsty. Hydrate proactively. And again, if plain water is boring, spice it up with some of those water ideas. Okay. Make it easy, make it delicious. Again, if you need some more ideas on that, reach out. Would love to help you. Action step number 4, build a nighttime routine you can actually stick to. So sleep is not optional, ladies. This is your body's daily repair window. So if you're running on 5 to 6 hours a night, your hormones are tanked, your recovery is stalled, and your cravings are jacked. Okay. So I want you to shut off those screens 30 minutes before bed. Do legs up the wall or stretch for 5 minutes. Read a few pages of a book. Okay. No scrolling, like read an actual book. Keep your room dark and cool. You don't need like a whole 12-step routine to get ready for bed. Just like 2 to 3 things that tell your body it's time to power down. Okay. Action step number 5 is to track that progress beyond the scale. You are not just a number. Okay. Progress is feeling confident in that tank top. It's noticing better posture and muscle tone in your pictures. It's finishing a workout and feeling strong. It's staying consistent 3 weeks in a row or measuring inches lost instead of pounds dropped. So one of my clients recently messaged me and said, I didn't lose a single pound this month, but I've gone down 2 sizes in my jeans and my arms are starting to look pretty awesome. Like I'm starting to see that little mark I've been looking for. And just again, I just love hearing these wins. And that's what matters, right? Those small wins. And then here's the part where nobody talks about is that willpower doesn't last, but support does. Okay. You don't need another 30-day plan. You need accountability. Someone in your corner when you're tired, overwhelmed, or doubting yourself. Someone who adjusts the plan instead of letting you throw it away when life hits. And inside the Embrace Your Strength Coaching Academy, that's exactly what we do. We build sustainable, smart, midlife friendly routines that work with your hormones, not against them. And we get results without cutting out food groups, without obsessing over the scale or wrecking your metabolism. So if you're done hiding your arms, if you're done starting over every Monday, if you're done telling yourself, well, this is just how I am now, here's your next step. Instead of guessing on what to do next or trying to piece it all together alone, let's chat, okay? Book a free, no pressure strategy call with me. We'll take a look at where you're at and what's keeping you stuck and the exact steps that you need to start tightening up your arms and finally feel strong and confident in your skin again. There's no obligation. There's no pushy sales tactics, just a real conversation, woman to woman, about what will actually help move the needle for you. So I'm even going to send you my free Batwings Be Gone starter guide after our call. It's just like, thank you. And this has 3 20-minute strength training workouts. You can do them at the gym or at home. It has a protein-rich summer meal guide, a hydration and collagen checklist, and my personal tank top tracker to help you celebrate non-scale wins. So you don't need to wait for another Monday. You don't need to keep second guessing everything. You need a plan and a coach who gets it. No catch, no fluff, just something that will actually work with you. So you can start today and, I want you like your future self, like saying like, damn, I did it. So let's make it happen. Right. So before I let you go, I want to remind you of something. You are not broken. You are not too old. You are not stuck. You've just been doing the wrong things for the season of life that you're in. And now that you know better, you have everything you need to start rebuilding your strength, tightening your arms, and showing up for yourself with confidence, no matter what the age is on your driver's license. So whether you start lifting a few days a week, whether you finally commit to tracking your protein, or whether you reach out and say, Chelsea, I'm ready for some real support, just take the next step, okay? Because change doesn't come from waiting, it comes from doing. So let's do this.